So, hi everybody again. Welcome here to Satsang, Guided Meditation and Enlightenment Activation. We start as usual by guided meditation at the same time, Enlightenment Activation for those who has the video on. If you want to have a guided you want to have Enlightenment Activation, you have to have the video on. So, okay, get started. We just sit comfortably, landing on this spot here now. Closing our eyes if you want to. And then just allowing this moment to be as it is already. Something is going on now. You hear the sound of this voice, for instance. Maybe some sensation in the body. Maybe some feelings are coming, some mood. And of course, thoughts arising and falling. We just allow all this to be exactly as it is. Not pushing away anything. Not having any opinions how it should be. Just allowing this moment to be as it already is. Not interested in anything arising and falling. Even thoughts are allowed to come and go as they do. We don't push away any thoughts. We don't push away any emotions. We don't try to fix anything. Stop all. Stop all search now. Let the truth do the job instead. By following the simple instructions, there is an openness created by itself. We're becoming available, and the truth is seen. So simple. Just stepping aside for a while. No one meditating. Just follow these 3 simple instructions to allow the moment to be as it is. Not interested in anything specific. And doing absolutely nothing. When the activation will start. So keep your eyes closed. We will make an experiment here. Keep your eyes closed. In this silent place that you maybe see now, just sense of being here, and this silent place. Take a look. Take a look in this silent being place. Can you find any me there? Can you find any personal, active me there? Can you find any responsible me there? Or whatever me which is dominating your life in daily life? Or just shortly, in this silence, in this pure awareness, just being here, can you find any me at all? Not go for what you think it is true, not what your memory says, or what the book says, or what I say, or what the teachers say. Look actively in this place of just being that maybe you have access to now. Can you find any me there? And probably the answer is no, I can't find any me there. I can't find any me in this presence, in this state of being. So what should you trust now? Should you trust what you see when you look, that you don't find any active doer, me, there? Or should you trust what you think? The thinking says, oh, I have to fix my life. I have to seek for enlightenment. I have to do all these things. I am worried about the future. I have to improve the present moment. When I'm not good enough, this is what the thinking says, maybe in your case. One or more of these things. But when you look in this present state that you are now, can you find any me at all? So what is your authority? Should you trust your observation, your experience when you look? Or should you trust what you have been thinking since childhood? Usually, when we have an experience and we have a thought, and they are colliding with each other, they don't say the same, they say opposite things. Usually, we rely more on the experience than the thinking. If the thinking is saying the bus is going 14:45, and the experience when looking at the schedule saying 14:46, we rely more on what we see, what we observe, what we experience, and thinking, oh, I have been thinking wrongly then. The earth is not flat. It is round when we see it from above. So the suggestion is trust what you see. Trust what you see when you look in this presence. Can I find any person here? Can I find any me? Responsible me here? And not go from what the thinking has said to you for your whole life. And you can use this as a tool. This is what is suggested here now. Every morning and every evening takes 1 minute. You just sit in the bed before you go to breakfast and just access this silence, access this beautiful being state. Just being here, present. Then you just look there, in that place. Can I find any me here? You do it in the morning, and you do it the last time you do, the last thing you do in the evening. That's all. It takes 1 minute. It's our experience with working with this individual session on our courses that this is extremely effective to take away the charge, the power of this idea that I have to fix my life. Okay, thank you very much. You may open your eyes now if you want. And have any questions? Yes, Rohan have a question here. Welcome very much.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask a question which might
I
be
don't hear
helpful
you.
to.
Yeah, now I hear you better maybe.
Can
Can
you
you?
hear me now?
Yeah, now it's better. Yes.
Yeah. So I have a question which I definitely need some support with, and I don't know if it'll be helpful to other people, but I want to ask this question. So yesterday also after the exercise I was doing that, and in the presence there is, I can clearly see that there is no me, and it's clearly seen. But the more and more that feeling that that seeing becomes stronger, the more it feels like there's this energy, experientially almost like an energy of like a me kind of wanting to
Come back.
uh, come back. Yeah, very strong. Like, oh God, like, I can almost see the mechanism. Like, it's almost like thinking thoughts, but it's also like an energetic feeling. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
not only thought, it's also like this energetic me kind of feeling very strongly, like grabbing attention almost. And so I wanted to ask, how do you work with that when that energy is like
You don't
pulling
work.
like,
We don't work at all with it.
okay.
The me can be felt in many ways. It can be a feeling, it can be energy structure in the body, it can show itself in many ways. As an experience, it can show itself not only as a thought, actually. It's a bigger
Okay.
structure than just a thought.
Mm,
And when we start to attack, you could say, this belief by using this simple tool that we just talked about, it's the idea of a me doesn't go away so easily. No, it's the opposite actually. Oh no, we're not going to go there. That's for sure. Now we have to come back here with all the resources and to defend the old position that is responsible. You are responsible, me here. So it will have even more coming than
Yeah,
before. It's just,
totally.
yeah,
And sometimes I only after half an hour or so I realize that I've got sucked into the me. Like I'm suddenly operating from the me,
yeah.
and
It's
then I'm suddenly like, wait, it
well, you are not operating from me, but the belief that you're operating from me is
it
so
the
is
experience
take,
of being lost completely in the me. Like
yeah.
it's
Just know this is a part of the process. It will not give up. Okay, I was wrong. I was wrong. I've given you the wrong idea about the responsible me in your whole life. 30 years, or maybe in some cases here, 60 years. Huh? Yeah. Sorry, I was wrong. Can you forgive me? That will never, ever happen. We can't wait for that one to bow down in front of us. It just have to understand that this is a defense mechanism. You know, the ego, the me, is a defending function in us. It's just that there's nothing behind it. It's just a thought. But the thought doesn't go away. And we're not trying to make it go away. This is important to understand this. We're not trying to say that this is not true. We're not working with the thinking. We go directly to the truth instead. We go directly to that place and look in the true state that you come to in meditation. Can I find any me here? No, I can't find it. And then we just understand that the observation, the result when I observe, has much more authority than the thought, even has been there for my whole life. And this place is also much more beautiful to be in. There's no struggle here, there's no problem, just bliss and peace and love. So what we do is to just not fighting the belief, but to understand, Rohan, that you're doing exactly according to the plan. Sorry, you're not unique in that sense here.
yeah.
You follow me this the schedule in the sense that the me belief, not the me doesn't come back because
Hmm.
there is no me, huh? But the me belief in its grabbing tendencies, it grabs attention again. It can be even stronger than before. But it is dying, so to speak, in that sense, that the me belief doesn't have the same charge, the same power as before. So it will just come, ah, ah, oh. So it will gradually go down. Usually it can be like this. It can be split of a second and you awaken. Or actually awaken, a oneness is coming. Because separation is only belief in a separate me. So oneness may come. Or it can become go more gradually, which is usually the case. Gradually, the belief in this me as a responsible doer, thinker, designer, controller, at least whatever it is getting less charge, less power. But before that, it will try to get all the resources to protest. So the mind is now protesting. No, don't go there for God's sake. If you don't have any me, who's gonna defend you? You will be used by other people, and you don't get what you want. So the recommendation is don't listen to the mind. Because if we're gonna go and discuss and try, yes, but, yes, but, yes, but, it's endless. It's an endless discussion with the thinking mind. It will always come back with all more arguments, one after the other, 40 years, or until you die. So the suggestion is don't listen to the mind when it is protesting. Listen, trust what you see. Trust what you see when you observe, when you investigate. Is it really any me? Or are they just totally nuts, these guys talking about no me? Okay, instead of listening to them endlessly also on satsangs, Look yourself. You have to look yourself, finally. And you will see when you are in contact with this place inside. I can't find it. And by doing it morning and evening in this way we just described, you will take away more and more of the power of it. The charge will go down and the shift to oneness will come. On the courses, we do it even more intensively, of course, much more intensely. That's why people wake up all the time. Here in Goa, 6 people of 8 woke up. In Tirunamalai, everybody woke up. Some go to oneness. The other ones on the way to oneness. They have not fallen out. I have contact with each of these people in the courses. They're not falling out. And that is because the courses is structured in such a way that we don't have only fantastic experience and feeling we love everybody and such peace and fantastic state. And then we come home after 3 days, so old programs start to grab attention again. We fall out, so to speak. We will want to avoid that. We want us to come home from the course and to stay in that permanent state of seeing what we have seen during the course, and hopefully also go the whole way to oneness during the course or shortly after. Is that answer to your question, Rohan? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else having something? It doesn't have to be in this subject, it can be whatever.
I do. It's Kathy.
Yeah, hi, Kathy.
I'm having that same experience that Rohan just described for sure. And I'm also, um, maybe this is the same thing, but when I look to that place and I don't see a me, I also don't see a world. I don't see anything there. So does that mean the world doesn't exist either?
Well, that depends on what we mean by world then. Because the world is an experience, right? The world is an interpretation of what is coming to us every moment. So everyone has his own private world. But that private world is, of course, existing in us, but not out there, so to speak. The experiences that are coming are interpreted by the thinking. That's how it started when we were 2 or 3 years old. The experiences are real. The sensations are real. The thoughts are real in that sense. It's not illusion. When we talk about the world being illusion, a little bit in the same direction that you talk about, Kathy, is there any word? When we talk about the world as illusion, we don't say that there is no experiences or that the experiences are illusion. No, all the experiences are real. It's just that the interpretation of them as being as some kind of world here and story going on, that is illusion. That there is something outside our experiences. But I don't know if you want me going to go so deep into this just now, actually. But Kathy, do you want to talk about something else in this connection? Or? It's true that when you look in the presence, when you look at this pure being state, you don't see any world of experiences. Huh? You see the presence, you see the stillness, you see the depths of the ocean. And then there is no world there. But the ocean is also showing itself as the waves, still being the ocean. So the world is, of course, not gone in that sense. But in the presence, yes, you could say that there is no world if we by world means experiences and feelings and thoughts. But that is not easy to be without anything, to be in total nothingness, right? Because when you are in this present state, maybe now, for instance, you also hear sounds, right? We not very, very rarely we have some kind of presence without totally without any perception. We hear some sound at least, or feel something in the body going on, or some thoughts. And that is the world. So we in the meditation, we not come into some kind of void in that sense that the world disappears usually. There are some examples in history, but it's not very common. Usually we have both the waves and the ocean at the same time, even in meditation. Because you hear something, sound from the outside, or the car passing by, whatever it is. So the world is still there, in that sense. I don't know if that is an answer to your question.
It is. The next thing that comes though is kind of this. So what the mind says, so what? So what? There's no me. You still have to deal with all of these experiences. Yes, you saw through me in a sense, but now you're back in the world, in your experience. So what if I don't exist? What are you going to do now? Or that kind of response.
Yeah, it's a beautiful way for the mind to grab attention again, of course. To defend its position by saying, okay, so what? You don't see any me in the present, so what? But here in the story, there is a responsible me here. Is it? Is it really so? That is the process we are talking about. By first seeing that we can't see any me in the presence, the next step, you will tell me, you will report it to me, is to see that there is no me in the story as well. So when the mind says, okay, so what? You have to deal with the world. It's going back to the ignorance. Maintaining the idea that there is a personal doer here who has to fix life and be all the practical things that needs to be done from morning to evening. It's just saying the same thing again, but in another way. That there is a person here. So it's protesting against what we see. But instead of fighting the mind, this is a crucial point here. Instead of fighting the mind and discussing with it, as we said before, you can do it endlessly. The thinking mind will never ever give up this position. Will always maintain that I have planted the right idea in you when you're two, that you are responsible me. That's why here we never discuss with the thinking mind. We instead go and investigate. And if we first can see that there is no me in the presence, and by seeing that every morning, evening, you will be seen more clearly. Okay, there is no me in the presence. There is no me in the present. There is no me in the present, morning and evening. Then the idea of this responsible me is getting more and more loose. It starts to being discharged, get less and less power. Then a shift will come, but there is no me here either. It's not only in the presence I don't see any me, but now I see there is no me here either. And to help this shift to come, we can use this tool if we feel that we want to do it. As you said, in the courses, we do it in our way more intensively, but because we are not on the course now, so to help people who cannot come to a course for different reasons, It's just a suggestion to do something about this enlightenment thing by doing something when we are in daily activity, not going to a course. We don't have, for these reasons, come to a course. So this can be done in daily activity while we are actually living in the world. It's just a suggestion. Try it, test it if you feel for it, and please come back with the feedback. Would be interesting to read. Is that okay, Kathy? Yeah. Anyone else?
I had just one in response of listening to what you were sharing, and also, at least in my, I can only say in my experience how it is, and I also did resonate with what Kathy said to some extent. That yesterday, for some time, like when I after went to when I went to sleep, or not when I went to sleep, when I just lied down, it is in a certain sense in that present state, like the whole form universe disappeared in a certain sense, and only being was, and of course, sounds and all were still there, as you said. I would experience. Uh, and of course, then the next and whole night it was there. Morning also it was like that. But then then the me, as I said, started coming back. But I do feel that at least I in my so experience till now there is. And I just felt in response to what Kathy was sharing that there is no me, but the character and the person and the human life which is being lived, it does keep getting informed by that. Like one teacher said something like always being and always becoming. I do feel that the human is also getting fully slowly getting informed by the understanding. The human life is getting informed by the understanding that in the being there is no me. So it is kind of moving into the human life also, that experience of less of a me, but there is still a human being who is functioning through life, at least in my experience.
Yeah, but we don't take away the story.
Yeah.
This is how what to discover what the story is really about. That there is, of course, a story going on, and everyone here has its role to play. Me too. Well, for the moment, I'm playing a role as some kind of guide or whatever you call it, and everyone has his role here. That role playing is not going away. What we are doing here is to find out what is really going on. Is there really someone behind the role? Is there some responsible person behind the role playing? And that is the discovery. No, it is not. I am totally not even innocent. I'm not even that because there's no one been innocent even. No? There's no responsible person actually. But in the story, of course, responsible persons, so to speak, are playing out its roles. Responsibility is still in the story, of course. If we do something criminal, we put it into jail. So the playing out of the persons is of course going on as before. We don't change the story by in discovering how it really is. The story doesn't care if you don't like it or not. It just goes on as before. But what is the difference is the suffering is gone. The struggling is gone. The worries is gone. The whole psychology of a person is gone. There's no one to fix. Because there is no person behind the role-playing one. This is what we try to say something by have this metaphor of a movie, right? We know that the one we see on the movie screen, oh, he's home and drinking tea or something. He has been shooting this movie a long time ago. There is no one behind this role playing. In a similar way, metaphorically, of course, In a similar way, it's a role playing going on here. Has been there before enlightenment, has been there after enlightenment. Chucking wood and carry water before and after enlightenment. In that sense, the events are just coming and going as before. This big change is that there is no suffering. It's total joy. It's total curiosity on what's going to happen next. And from a place of totally untouched, not influenced by what happens in the story. That is what is called freedom. Freedom from the ego, freedom from the ego desires, freedom from the ego which is never satisfied, and freedom to enjoy the creative ideas that now can be manifested because there is no restricting thoughts about me. Oh, I can't do that. I'm not good enough. So it's freedom from and freedom to at the same time. And living from that place of freedom, of course, life is totally different. But from on the outside, some people here know me. I'm from Sweden. They know me. Do I look? Do I have a different Ingegerd? You know, do I have a different handshaking, or isn't that the same Krister who you were talked to in 1970s already when we were working together? Huh? I mean, the personality is not changed in that sense. The role playing is just still going on. What is changing is the inside, which is totally, totally different. How life is experienced, you could say, how life is seen. That reality is one single reality, showing itself as total stillness, where the world seems to be not there, and showing itself as the world at the same time. And to see that is total love also. Then there is freedom. I went to something else, Rowan, but is that the answer to your question?
Yeah.
Comment? Yeah. Okay. Someone else saying something? Or Rowan wants to continue? No? People can say to you when you are totally free, oh, okay, you're maybe a little bit more quiet nowadays, maybe a little bit more mild, you're not so aggressive anymore, and so on. You can be a little bit more nice, but you are also older. It comes with the age. You know, I don't know if you're enlightened, really. Are you really so-called a little bit of a Buddha, huh? No, Buddha nature. Have you seen that Buddha nature inside you? I don't know, because you look same old body, and you behave the same when the body language is still the same. I don't know. And then you can find most people who get it, they don't say it. Most people don't say it. And then you can find some kind of notes in a diary or a book in the drawer when they have died. Oh, what is this? Autobiography of Enlightened One. Oh, and then you can say, okay, he was living from another state than I thought, or she. So the events on the superficial level, that's what I'm pointing to. The story goes on before and after, because the story doesn't care if we know how it is. But of course, the story changes in that sense that there is no psychology. There is no emotional reactions. There is no tension in the body. There's no negative thoughts. That is a big change, of course. It can also be that your profession becomes to be some kind of guide to other people, to help other people in this. In that sense, it is changed, but that is part of the story. This is part of the story. So is it destiny then? Is it a script? I hear somehow people can ask this. Okay, so it is actually already the script here. We're talking about the movie. They always have the manuscript, you know, they follow. Philosophy room. I don't go there. Destiny? Oh, some people say yes. Some people say no. Do we really know? Is it interesting for enlightenment? Or is it just feeding the mind? We're going astray instead of discovering enlightenment state, which is already here now. Anyone else?
It's Kathy again.
Mm-hmm.
Does the story ever end, or is the best that you can hope for just to not care that the story goes on? Because there's something in me that maybe this is just more mind. It wants out of the story. It wants no more story, no more. But maybe when I'm when I'm in the state where you are, I won't care that the story goes on. Is that the best we can do?
Well, the good news is there is no story. There is no story. What we call story is interpretation by the thinking. The sound that you hear now is interpreted by you all, as sound coming from Chris's voice on Zoom, from Goa in India. It has an interpretation by the thinking, which is added onto the sound, on the top of the sound. The same sound you heard when you were 2 years old as an imagination now. If you would hear it when you were 2, 3 years old, there was no interpretation at that time. You have no idea what it was. There was no meaning. Totally meaningless. Just phenomena rising and falling. You didn't even know what phenomena was. There was no mama and papa, body, me, life, story. So the story is interpretation by the thinking. So thinking starts to interpret what is coming every moment. Sounds, feelings, bodily sensations, sounds from the parents. There is a response with me and you. You have to behave. All this is coming from the thinking. Without the thinking, there is no story. And where is the thinking? Is it in some kind of abstract, absolute place in the middle of the universe or something? No, it is in our head. Everyone has his own world. We don't interpret the things arising in the same way. For one person, a sound can be horrible because of the association with memories. For some other, it can be music. So the interpretation is totally subjective, depending on what happened during the upbringing. So we have private worlds, all of us. We don't have any common world in that sense. So the idea of a world which means people, I with other people living in a group, in society, or in a physical world, on a planet, is just thoughts. Where is no evidence for it being true. All there is just a phenomena arising and falling, interpreted by something which is also arising and falling in the same place, thinking. Thinking doesn't stand beside and say, okay, I will tell you how it is. This sound is coming from Chris's voice on Zoom and Goa. This is not standing beside. The interpretation is also an experience. So the thinking is also something which is coming and going. It's just that it has the ability to interpret everything which is coming, which the other experience doesn't have this ability. But it has this ability to interpret and create something out of it. The clay for the children. I'm making an elephant. Oh, can I make an elephant? And now we're making a house. Well, now we're making a cat. It's creating something out of nothing, you could say. But it's not something common. It's just in our head. The story, we call it, is our mental construction out of things arising and falling. So in that sense, Cassie, there is no story. But suffering can still be there. And that is what we're talking about. Suffering is because of wrong thinking. That's why we focus so much on questioning our beliefs and to discover where does the soul come from. Is the ocean showing itself as waves? The ocean showing itself as thoughts, including ignorant thoughts. To answer your second comment there, how it is seeing from the enlightened point of view, or not a point of view, it's a truth, no? To see it from the enlightened state. Yeah, the story is somehow here. I'm sitting here in front of the computer, right? So the story is still here in some way, but it doesn't matter what happens. There is no evaluation that the story should go in some kind of direction because there is no evaluator there anymore. There is no me who's protesting against the present moment. There is no me who's worrying about the future. There is no me who's protesting that life should be in another way than it is. And there is no negative thoughts about this me, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy of enlightenment, or whatever it is to believe. These are totally absent. So the story can now be appreciated, enjoyed for the first time for what it really is. A beautiful theater play in 3 dimensions. To be enjoyed, to be appreciated. It's a fantastic circus going on. Entertainment. And some kind of curiosity coming. I wonder what will happen next. Because every moment is new. It's not as some kind of slogan from New Age. Every moment is new and fresh. It's really seen so. It's really seen so. Every moment is really new and fresh, not as a theory. Whenever, if every moment is not new and fresh and never boring, it's not so interesting about the future. And the interesting part of the past is even less. It's just living in the present moment. This being, which is just vibrating of life, whatever it shows itself as. One reality, one being. And then it doesn't matter what happens. And there is no death. Death seems to be happening in the story, yes. Meaning that the experiences of a body goes away, but the real, what we really are, the true being doesn't die. They have always been here. Is some kind of timeless being, which is realized in the present moment, 24/7. And then this story can be enjoyed for what it is. Total mess. Total mess. And sometimes a little bit order, but then go back to mess again. Like you have, these Lego things that children has. You put a box of lot of Lego on the floor, mm, and then you start to build something that it seems to be getting a little bit orderly, huh? And then when the kids go to bed, then you put all the things in the box again, huh? All the mess. And then the day after you do the same. Start with the mess, and then you do some order. It's like this. It's just coming and going. There's no idea about it. Just appreciate, just having fun, you could say. Creative, enjoying, dancing, singing, whatever happens. This statue they have in India here, you have Shiva in a round circle, Shiva's dance. This is very deep. Everything is just Shiva's dance. They express it in an Indian way. We can also say that there is only God. If we want to have it in a Christian way, there is only God, showing himself as what is in the moment. And they also can say God and his delirium. He has been drinking too much vodka. Delirium is what we call life. Pink elephants or whatever. It's just entertainment. Let's enjoy it. But as long as there is an idea of a person who has to fix life, responsible me, even if I can't see it. I can't see it in the present even. But it is there. You have to look deeper, Cassie. You have to look deeper, then you will see it. The mind says. And if we don't listen to the mind, what happens then? Oh, something is opening up here. Ah, relaxation of the body, peace. Oh, this is quite a nice state to be in. Oh, things are happening here all the time. I didn't know. I think it was just a boring place to be, the same tea every morning. Oh yeah, it's different actually. Life becomes some kind of play. Beautiful play. I noticed that yesterday in the meeting yesterday, we noticed that I didn't take away the Zoom for some reason. I don't know why. And I noticed that people was actually meditating after this guy went away. And I had to take away Zoom because I wanted to go to bed at midnight. But so people were there 2 hours after the meeting was ending, meditating. It was beautiful to see. So we have a beautiful group here. So if I don't have any session afterwards, I will have it today. But if we don't have that, I will not take away Zoom. So you can actually you can stay here and meditate if you want to do that, as people so beautifully did yesterday evening. I just want to mention this opportunity to meditate together. Even if we're not sitting in the same room, but in some way we do, right? Is there anyone else who have some comments today before we close? So we see each other tomorrow for those who wants to. And tomorrow, as marketing, tomorrow we're going to call God by phone. Let's see if he answers. Thank you very much for today. And Cassie, you can stay here then. We can have our session.